Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris and I am your host. When we went to break, I was talking with Courtney Ruby, who is the city auditor. That is the auditor for the city of Oakland. Courtney, who is subject to an audit? Is it random or what?
So I can audit anything and everything in the city of Oakland. The determinant is what are the most critical areas that need to be audited. Now, we just spoke about me not having enough staff. Mm-hmm. So my team and I, we get together annually. We do an audit session, planning session to determine really where are the areas in the city that are boiling over, is what I like to say, that we need to address. We need to get in there and identify. And the truth is, Robert, there's just too many areas for us to cover. But when I returned in 2019, I was committed that in this term that I would dig deeper, that we would look at the systemic issues both across our city as well as look at municipalities across the country and see what other municipalities were grappling with as well as us, and bring a finer point on our findings and our recommendations so that we could really address change, more strenuously, I would say.
Is there anything that triggers an audit?
There are.
Okay.
There's things that trigger an audit in relation to mandated audits. Okay. So if the electorate passes a ballot measure and it has a clause in it that requires the city auditor to audit it, then that's what's called a mandated audit.
Okay.
So we do performance audits and we do mandated audits. A performance audit is when we go in and look at the efficiency and effectiveness of a government program and determine if it could work better or if it could is not in compliance with the regulations or laws that it is following. Or if it is meeting equity provisions. So there really isn't anything that we can't audit. But with the mandated audits,
then you have no choice.
We absolutely have to go in and audit.
Now, what about the Oakland Police Commission? I think you did an audit of that.
I did, and that's a great example of a mandated audit. So in 2016, the electorate passed Measure LL, which authorized an independent police commission and an independent community police review agency. As part of that ballot measure that created the commission, it also had a clause in there that within 2 years of the commissioners being seated, the city auditor needed to go in and audit the commission to determine if it was providing effective oversight over OPD and if it was in compliance, as well as the community police agency, with the Oakland Charter and Municipal Code.
Now, how would you determine whether or not they are providing effective oversight of the police?
That's a great question. So my team and I, we go in, we roll up our sleeves, we look at the requirements from the Oakland Municipal Code as well as the Charter, and that's our criteria. So that's the rules that we follow in establishing the commission. So then we go through and we determine, is the commission doing what the Oakland Charter and Municipal Code say? So that's one piece, right? That's the compliance. But the effectiveness, so what are the results?
Yeah.
That's the key. So when my team and I went in and looked, we found that there were challenges in the police commission in doing their work. So that they had made recommended changes to 2 OPD policies in the first 2 years, and that there were also administrative issues that were there were some self-limiting obstacles in their way, and then there were some things where the administration appeared to be not as helpful as they could have been. And then there was conflicts in the charter and the municipal code language. So this isn't uncommon for a new commission to come on board. You're going to have growing pains, things aren't going to work. But when we come back to that question of effectiveness, regardless of that, you come into this role and you need to deliver for the residents of Oakland. So then it's looking at, do you have a work plan in place? Do you have a strategic plan? Do you have a way then to monitor and quantify those results so that you can go back to the electorate and say, this is what we set out to accomplish, this is what we did accomplish, this is what we couldn't accomplish, A great example is for racial profiling. There were issues that we found that the commission was dealing with on a case-by-case basis. Residents would raise concerns that are very alarming, and so the commission would look at those instances. However, in a role like that, you really want a commission to look at the systemic issues that are underlining the racial profiling, and then go to make the policy changes and system changes so that the OPD is operating more effectively.
Now, how does a performance audit differ from a regular audit, or are they the same? I don't know.
They are not the same, and that is such a great question. So I received my credentials from American University. I got a BSBA in accounting, and I was hired by Deloitte & Touche as a financial auditor. And I don't think I knew that there was such a thing as performance auditors, because that's the world of auditing that I believed, that people did. You went out, you checked the books, you made sure you issued your audit report to say whether the financial statements of an organization were appropriate, as well as compliance with laws and regulations. Performance audits are what is critical in government auditing, and what makes it so important is because it goes back to that efficiency, effectiveness, economy, that there isn't anything we can't answer whether government is performing or not for the residents. So it really opens it up. It's not just about the financial numbers, it's about how is your government performing for you. And
we're going to find out a little bit more about that in a moment, but unfortunately we have to go to break. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. Don't touch that remote. Put it down. We will be right back. And I'm speaking with Courtney Ruby, who is the city auditor, and she's going to explain a little bit more in just a moment about performance audits.